Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into what happens when an innocent boyhood game goes horribly, dangerously wrong. We're looking really closely at a classic piece of literature, Mark Twain's The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Specifically, we're going to explore Chapter 6, Digging for Treasure. Now, if you think you know how a standard, run-of-the-mill boyhood treasure hunt is supposed to go, well, get ready, because this story shows exactly how quickly an innocent game of pretend can turn into a literal, heart-pounding fight for survival.
So where is the best place to hide a treasure? If I asked you that today, you might think of, a bank vault or maybe a secure digital wallet. But I want you to step back in time for a second and put yourself directly into the mindset of two young boys in the 1840s, Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. For them, the answer is a little more atmospheric.
Let's get right into Section 1, Rules of Treasure Hunting.
You see, it starts out incredibly innocent. The boys decide they want to go out and dig for a lost fortune. But according to Tom, you can't just dig anywhere. There are these really specific, superstitious rules to this game that you absolutely have to follow. So they grab a pickaxe and shovel and they're digging furiously under a dead tree in the dead of night. According to Tom's kid logic, a dead tree is a prime spot for buried loot. But there's a major catch to this plan. Digging in the dark means they are completely terrified of ghosts. Huck even explicitly tells Tom that he doesn't like it there because he's frightened of the spirits. They're playing a spooky game to scare themselves, but at this stage it's really still just that, a game.
Well, when they come up totally empty-handed under their so-called safe spot by the dead tree, Tom suggests a terrifying alternative. He says, normally, treasure is hidden under the floor in haunted houses. Now, Huck is instantly opposed to this idea. He says haunted houses are way more terrible than dead people. But Tom rationalizes it with pure superstition. Ghosts are only a problem at night. If they go into the haunted house during the day, it's perfectly safe. Makes perfect sense, right?
Which brings us to Section 2, the haunted house.
Relying on that incredibly flimsy guarantee that daylight protects them from the supernatural, the boys bravely and, perhaps a little foolishly, enter the terrifying abandoned structure. 20. For exactly 20 minutes, Tom and Huck dug peacefully in the dirt floor of that haunted house. Just two kids, sweating it out, having a grand adventure, entirely unaware of the extreme, very real danger that was heading straight for their front door.
And then they heard someone. Imagine the sheer panic. The game is instantly over. They scramble, throwing themselves into hiding, hearts just pounding rapidly in their chests. They hold their breath, completely trapped in a house they were already terrified to be inside of in the first place.
Two men come in. Just think about the absolute, suffocating tension here. The boys are frozen in pure silence, watching from the shadows as these strangers step right into the very room they were just digging in.
And one of them was Injun Joe. Talk about a real game changer. In a split second, a childhood fantasy becomes a total nightmare reality. Injun Joe is not a man you want to cross. He is a dangerous criminal, a known killer, and he and his companion definitely aren't here to ghost hunt. They are actually carrying a heavy bag of money. So Tom and Huck are now locked in a single room with a violent killer who is trying to hide his loot.
Now let's look at Section 3, a box of gold. The men decide this abandoned haunted house is the perfect place to hide their ill-gotten bag of money, so they start digging right there in the dirt floor. And the ultimate irony here is just staggering. The boys were literally playing at being treasure hunters in this exact spot 20 minutes ago. But as they watch in terror, Injun Joe's digging tool hits something hard buried in the dirt. It's an old box. They pull it up, pry it open, and it is packed with a massive amount of real, actual money. A childhood fantasy is literally happening right in front of the boys' eyes, but under the most horrific circumstances imaginable.
The sheer volume of this hidden treasure completely changes the criminal's plans. Injun Joe's companion looks at the massive haul and asks, "What will we do with this new money?" This quote anchors us right in the absolute shock of the moment. They only came to hide a little bag, and now they've accidentally unearthed an absolute fortune that someone else had already buried there. But instead of just taking the money and running to enjoy it, Injun Joe reveals his darker, far more sinister motivations. He tells his partner, "That job isn't for money. I want to punish someone." Notice how deeply chilling that statement is. Tom, hiding just feet away, thinks something terrible. He wonders if Injun Joe means to punish him specifically because of what Tom revealed earlier at a trial. It instantly rips us back to the very real life-or-death stakes for these kids hiding in the dark.
And finally, Section 4, the number 2 place.
Because of this massive discovery, the criminals realize they have to totally change their strategy. Step 1. They realize they absolutely cannot leave all this newly found wealth sitting in the haunted house. Leaving it right there is out of the question, especially because Injun Joe actually notices fresh earth on the pickaxe the boys left behind and gets suspicious. Step 2. Taking it to his partner's place is rejected. It's too risky. Someone could easily take it from there. So, Step 3, Injun Joe makes a dark, final decision.
He tells his partner with absolute finality, no, I'll hide it in the number 2 place, under the cross. It's such a crucial, heavy line. This ominous promise completely changes the trajectory of the boys' adventure. The criminals pack up every single coin of that massive treasure, and they leave the house, stepping so terrifyingly close to the hiding boys that Tom later says he nearly stood on Injun Joe's hand.
The boys miraculously survived the encounter, but now they have a new, very dangerous obsession. Which leaves us with the ultimate question. Where is the number 2 place? Where's the cross? And will Tom and Huck get there first to claim the fortune? What started as a superstitious game under a dead tree has completely transformed into a high-stakes, real-world hunt against a murderous criminal. It's an absolutely brilliant piece of storytelling by Mark Twain. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep exploring, and I'll see you next time.